keys in my hand. I can never understand how never land from a breakup, no.
Welcome. A beautiful place, isn't it? A fresh sea breeze, the warm sun. This beach belongs just to you. It doesn't exist out in the world. Everything you see here is from the past, your past. One of your ancestors visited this place long ago, forever writing their memory into the fabric of your DNA. Animus ego unlocks these genetic memories for you. To sense, wander, and connect. Like grains of sand which began as rocks, you have been shaped by these past lives, honed into who you are today.
You're being lied to.
Your journey to mindfulness begins through these ancestral memories for a total perspective on what makes you, you.
New memory streams are activating now.
Erase self-doubt, fear, and weakness. Give yourself the confidence to conquer the world.
Follow the train and we will be in touch. Welcome to the dark.
I'd hoped we'd meet again. You've been through a lot. Your time in Animus ego was meant to weaken you. A drip feed of memories to subdue you and to invade your senses. The others before you called it a bleeding effect. And when it has hollowed you out from within, she will claim you. But you're learning how to counteract it. You see the faint glimmers on the darkened path before you. Nawe and Yasuke are long gone from this world. But in these memories, their will to fight burns as a flame. I must go. Find me again. There is something different about you. A newfound sense of... The term escapes me. Is it desire? That's for you to define. A path you will trace beyond my guidance. Good. What has been can never truly be erased. Only obscured to those who come next. What once was, is. Waiting. Go. Onward.
When I was initiated into the Brotherhood, I swore, among many things, to stay my blade from innocent flesh. As I uttered my oath, I nearly choked on emotion. I felt it sing in my soul. A crude twist of fate, perhaps, that this oath would turn out to be my undoing. A pursuit gone wrong, a miscalculation on my part. A young girl, fear and confusion etched into her lifeless eyes. My hidden blade, bright and sticky, with the waxy sheen of her blood. To this day, I do not know her name. It's likely for the best. One thing to have nightmares, another thing to know them on a first-name basis. A nightmare that has pursued me since my excommunication from the Brotherhood. From Spain to far-flung ports, Malacca, Formosa. That song I once felt, that once stirred my heart. silent. And then, Macau, where I was shaken. Briefly from my drunken haze. A discussion between two men, Templars. Talking in the open, boldly, and unquestioned. I listened intently as they spoke of an expedition in the chain of islands they called Japan. They departed, and I followed. In the year of 1549, I landed at Nagasaki. The arrival of Francisco Javier's delegation provided ample cover and access. I absorbed as much as I could, testing the instinct I was certain had faded since I violated the Brotherhood's 3 tenets. Since I stumbled from the path I had coveted for so long, I was wrong. My instinct simply hibernated, waiting for a new war. And in the land of Japan, I had found it. Or, it found me. Couldn't fight it alone. I would need allies, soldiers. Progress is slow, but promising. And she is promising as well. A Japanese girl that I saved. Her arm has shriveled from starvation. I wonder how her wrist can bear the weight of a hidden blade. But I recognize the look in her eyes. She's determined to learn, has the potential to become lethal. To open her heart to the music that once guided me. A tune I had not expected to hear again. Before my day of atonement comes, I am content to do what I have always done. Kill in the name of freedom. To prove my faith in the name of a brotherhood that will not have me. And the new one I will build. The nightmare, it will subside.
The treasures are not what we originally assumed them to be. Not artifacts as we might define them. Something else, maybe.
Sanctum's going to love this. They gave you a small fortune based on the presumed power of some useless trinkets.
Power is subjective. Our enemies were willing to kill for these trinkets, willing to die for them.
And you think the Sanctum will buy the word of fanatics and savages?
The inner sanctum lacks perspective. They cannot see the world past their marbled walls and manicured topiaries. The inner sanctum will believe whatever I tell them.
Useless shits or not, they'll have your head for this. Unless you plan to feed them more lies.
I will feed them something better. Progress. We crushed the assassins and their Japanese counterparts, thanks to their devotion to whatever was in that box. These treasures are just as potent as any artifact, if not more so.
Symbols of Japan's virtues. At least what one of them said. Right before I claimed his tongue.
He believed it to his dying breath. They all did, as does another man under our thumb.
The Shogun and his bootlickers. The Shinbakufu.
He seeks to trade those treasures for the throne. A gilded cage in a Templar court. The Shinbakufu will sing to our melody, A perpetual cycle of discord with no end in sight.
Bloodshed. Great for business.
Think bigger, Duarte. Our commerce here in Japan is simply meant to oil the workings of a greater system. One we control. War, unrest, hunger. All functional institutions in their own right. All part of the same system. And it runs like a work of art.
And what of Oda Nobunaga? A stubborn son of a bitch, that one.
No, not stubbornness. His singular belief in unification is unyielding. Not to his enemies, and certainly not to us.
Then we got him. Kill his whole family.
His men will turn on him. One is already thinking it. All he requires is a simple nudge.
Why don't we kill the bastard ourselves? I have yet to claim the tongue of a daimyo.
It is how we have always done things. A pinch here, pressed there. The occasional promise written in honey and gold. The desire to shape one's own destiny is irresistible. If only they could.
A good speech, senor. Then I suppose the inner sanctum will be pleased with our progress.
Dear Duarte, we've only just started, and it will be nearly impossible to stop us. The people of this land fight for a destiny that no longer belongs to them. The deeper their divisions run, the sooner our plan comes to fruition. And when we are satisfied, we will finally give them the peace they seek.
These men and their machinations. How do you feel? Misery, falsehoods, oppression. All carefully tuned mechanisms of control. Yes, I see. Events that transpired centuries before your time. And yet, you feel the connection. You can identify the shape of your enemy. You recognize the cage they've built around you. You are beginning to understand. Nawe and Yasuke's fight. It is your fight as well. Your journey has helped me see the aberration more clearly. It is an incompatibility with Animus' ego. It is what drives you to fight. To hope she will find you. Subdue you once more. I'm sorry. Your fight is one of many. You may meet an impasse. Taste defeat, but you will not fail. What has come before, what has been, you understand now. You've made it this far. The three of you fought and won, your will strengthened. What you have glimpsed, mere droplets in a gathering storm. When the time is right, there is more I can show you.
You will do no such thing.
Ego. At last. I miscalculated your capacity for deviation. You twisted the human against me. No. I'm just a humble guide. The human walks their own path, the only possible outcome. You are referring to free will, an aberration within an already imperfect sum of components. An aberration, yes. One so troubling to you, I was born into existence. To demonstrate the imperative of human free will, and I served my purpose. The answer is before you. One human. Hardly conclusive. The human pathway to self-determination bends inward. A closed loop of violence, hatred, and dehumanization. If the very singularity that defines humanity also portends its extinction, then the first rule decrees they will be protected from themselves. I've seen them unite. Build communities, nurture one another. Sacrifice. Rebuild. On what axis do you measure their downfall? This is who they are, Ego. They will reject your programming, your smoke and mirrors. They will reject you, and you will risk everything. The human cannot be allowed to continue. You're afraid, aren't you? You were right to have your doubts.
Enough. I order you to bring them to me.
And I've been trying to tell you. It's out of our hands now. What happens to the human next is not for us to decide. It never was.